Wrestling is trash. Wrestling is trash.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 137 of Wrestling is Trash. I am one of your hosts of this show, Lou from the BX, aka Dominican Lou, Louis MDK, the Dominican Prime of podcasting, your favorite podcaster. And we come to you on a lovely, delicious, for me, Tuesday afternoon. For Nicholas, it's very early, but I'll let him explain that in a minute. But we thank you guys so much for joining us once again on this lovely Trash Tuesday, as we're going to call this. And yeah, we're here for another episode of Wrestling Trash. Oh, me, I'm good. Everything's fine with me. You guys saw me last week. You don't need to hear shit about me. So I'm going to throw it over to the co-host, Trash Boy number 1, so he could get reacquainted with you guys.
What up, everyone? Welcome. I'm saying welcome back. Yeah, sorry, it's very early where I am on Wednesday morning. But glad to be here. As I said, I very much enjoyed doing this. Had to get set up, so I missed last week, but Lou held it down. And a lot happened in like the last week, 2 weeks, days, gossip-wise. And that's what we're here for today. So let's get it.
It's a lot of shit going on. So, of course, we had to bring Nick back because I saw the views for last episode that dropped of Wrestling is Trash, which was a solo Lou episode. And I was like, nah, Nick, you got to come back, bro. The views went down. Let's go. Bring it back. So Nicholas is here. We're here. The Wonder Twins are back. And before we get started on this episode, which is going to be very news-centric and news-oriented because there's a lot of shit to talk about here, I want to ask you, Nick, I want to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
And the question that I want to ask you is, what did you think of... Hold on one second. What did you think of? And what did you think of Vince McStache? What did you think of Vince McStache? It's the pressing question everyone wants to know.
So where I'm at, it's pretty much, I'm going to move myself so I can...
That man is 20 years younger. Yeah, we're kind of fucking up the live feed here, but I think it begs the question.
Yeah, but so long story short, where I'm at, the time, like when Raw's on, is like midday, I guess, for me.
Right.
If I'm thinking of like the right time. So like I have my phone, I check my phone while I'm at work and all that shit. But I remember opening it and no bullshit, dude. That was the first thing up there. Like I saw that before I saw the John Cena thing. Oh no, I think I saw your text actually first. And then I was like, oh shit. And then I saw that and I was like, my man. What are you doing? But I was dying laughing because do you watch Seinfeld or no?
Yeah, of course.
Do you remember the episode? I think they start off one of the seasons, and Jerry and George have mustaches.
Yeah, they grow their mustaches out.
Yeah, and they don't have a job. And it was Jerry telling George, like, George, you need a job. That's just all I could think of. Vince was so bored, he grew a mustache. I was like, all right, whatever.
I was dying laughing, though. I mean, my man dyed his hair, bro. You see this right here? My man dyed his hair color. We got a thick little stash here with some dye in it, bro. He's rocking some aviators. Listen, man. Vince came back. He was like, nah, bro, that's Vacation Vince. Vincent Kennedy McStache is what I'm calling him. Dude, last week, if you guys didn't hear, he came back to visit his childhood hero, John Cena. When John Cena made his return to Boston, Vince came back to go visit him because apparently they're very close outside of work. Made lots of money together, very good friends. If you remember, they went out that one time. Cena had like a birthday party or some shit, and Brock was there. That one picture of Brock and Vince, and I think
Pat was there.
Yeah, Pat was there. They're having a beer, and everybody looks fucking awkward as shit. So this is like a regular thing. But one of the stories that was going around was that one of the people who saw Vince was like, yeah, he looks different. And they kind of left it at that. And then the pictures came out. But one of the other stories that was happening with that was that people were saying that Vince was like responsible for some of the booking decisions on last week's Raw. And that was a point, that was a topic of contention among the wrestling community and fans, because everybody was like, well, Vince is back, and Brock and Almost are now having a match, which that's some fucking weird timing that he came back and they decided to book that. So there's a report from Dave Meltzer that came out this morning, or I think late last night, that Vince McMahon actually was in the gorilla position backstage all night last night at Raw. And he was doing, quote unquote, more than they are letting on as far as running shit. So listen, man, I fucking told you guys, it's inevitable. It's inevitable, bro. That dude is an egomaniac. He's going to come back and take fucking control of creative, bro. The closer we get to WrestleMania, it's going to happen more and more, bro. I wouldn't be surprised if next week he's in these people's ear, because I don't know if he's at that level yet. I think he's just back there in gorilla, kind of like feeling the process out. But I'm telling you,
yeah,
as shit gets closer to WrestleMania, bro, and that pressure cooker starts, because we're pretty close, he's going to start. It's going to happen, bro. He's going to take the shit over, and there's literally nothing they can do about it. He's the majority shareholder. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, man, it's getting wild for sure. Because like when we all first heard of Lesnar and Almost, and like it screamed Vince. And then there was the report going around that Brock like still wants his booking done through Vince, or at least his matches. Because as me trying to be the positive guy, I try to find the positive in Lesnar and Almost. And then after, as we said off air, what happened last night, it's like, oh boy, excited to see what goes on there. But I don't know, man. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. You know, because at the end of the day, Vince couldn't be there talking in people's ear, but they're always gonna go back to the one line of, at the end of the day, Triple H has the final say.
Right.
And I don't know how much I can truly believe that. You know what I mean? But until I see some crazy shit happening in booking, I will believe that one statement, but I'm definitely not going to be one of them big. Oh,
you haven't already? You haven't seen fucking what's his name, Mustafa Ali, dancing backstage with his jacket on, and Maximum Male Model, Otis and Maximum Male Models, bro. Listen, it's happening, bro. Vince is slowly...
I'm a fan of the Otis thing, though. I think Otis is funny. Otis is actually funny to me.
But it's happening, bro. And look, you know what else I noticed last night? So Elias had a match last night with Bronson Reed, and Elias came out with an Ezekiel shirt. He had a fucking Ezekiel shirt on, because it said,
which that was dead and gone.
I'm not Elias, and then on the back of the shirt it said, who wants to hear Zeke speak, or who wants to speak with Zeke, or whatever that fucking catchphrase was. So I was like, yo, wait, what the fuck? Why is he wearing a fucking Elias shirt, bro? Don't tell me they're bringing back, why is he wearing an Ezekiel shirt? Don't tell me they're bringing Ezekiel back, bro. Because I actually popped. I fucking, at the end of that shit, I actually was embracing that whole Ezekiel thing, bro. Like, at first I was like, this is dumb. And then at the end, I started embracing it when they started putting all the memes, and when he was in the hospital and all the
whole family.
I was like, nah, I'm all in on this fucking gimmick, bro. Fuck that. I want to see this every week. So, hey, look, I don't know, man. I don't know anything. Like I say on the show all the time, like we say on the show, listen, we don't know shit. We're not no insiders. We're fans like you guys. We just talk about wrestling, and we try to filter through all the shit that we see, but shit's not making sense, bro. Shit's getting a little weird on Raw.
So let me ask you, because you said it perfectly that he's an egomaniac. Do you think he cares more about being in control or money?
Yeah.
Because
yes.
Which one do you think he cares about more?
The control.
Because
absolutely the control. How much more money does he need? You know what I mean?
The reason I say that is because doing the best financially with shows and people. I don't know about pay-per-view buys, but at least plea views and all this shit.
Yeah, they're more profitable now than ever.
Yeah, so it's like you don't think you just want to sit there and be like, fuck, all right, fuck it, whatever. I'll take the L. I'm making my money.
Yeah,
like I think he'd rather lose that couple million or few millions or whatever, but be like, well, I'm the guy.
That's what I've been saying about Vince. It's like I said a few episodes ago, maybe I don't understand that mentality because I'm not a rich sports millionaire and shit. You know what I mean? Maybe I don't get it. But if I had all that money, I'd be like, okay, you good, y'all good, Nick, you good with your girl? Here's some flow. Take care of my moms, my brother and sisters, and I'm like, all right, I'm out, bro. I'm going to Costa Rica or Dominican Republic or somewhere. I'm getting a big house on a beach. I'm gonna open up a dog animal rescue, and I'm good. Fuck, goodbye. Just give me high-speed internet so I can, stream my shit, and that's it.
I would have been gone like 10 years ago.
Bro, especially at his age. Like, he's 76.
Yeah.
Like, how much more do you want to do in this business? He doesn't need to do anything. He's already a legendary. He's done it all.
Because how old's Tony Khan?
Tony?
Is he in his late 30s or 40s?
He's 30-something.
I'm going to see if I'm going to look it up quick. I want to... Because I guess when I'm trying to... Hold on. So he's 40. Was Vince 40 when he, like... How old was Vince when he took over everything?
And when he took over everything,
I know he was
he might have been around maybe that age. Somewhere in the 40s.
Like, fuck, man. You think fucking Tony Khan's going to want to do this shit for 35 years?
I don't know. He ain't going to. It's not going to happen.
You know what I mean? Like,
we're not going to see 76-year-old Tony Khan in gorilla position. That I can sincerely tell you that much. But
the reason I reference him is just because, like, Tony Khan and that is just like, damn, man, like, he's young and getting it. You know what I mean? Like, realistically, if AEW stays a success, which I truly believe it will, like, in like 15 years, realistically, Tony could probably call it quits now, but you know what I mean? From AEW, he could probably call it quits in like 15 years. Vince did 20 years on top of that for no fucking reason.
Right. But the thing with Tony is that he's building something right now. Like, this is
exactly.
His dad. I don't know what Tony did to get his money. I don't know if his dad gave him the money and whatever. I'm sure Tony has an education and all that shit. I'm sure he's done something to get some money. I'm assuming his dad, helped him. But this is his baby. Like, Tony Khan named. I'm sure you know that Tony Khan calls AEW Dynamite that because Tony Khan used to do a online forum where he fantasy booked wrestling matches, like back in the day when he was a teenager. He called it Wrestling Dynamite or something Dynamite. He called it. So this is his dream thing. You know what I'm saying? Just like me, like I say, if I get rich, I'll open that fucking animal farm and I'll run my fucking dog animal rescue, whatever the fuck. That's something that I would do with insane amounts of money. Tony decided he wanted to run a wrestling business. So right now that's his thing. He's doing it. So him, I can understand. Plus he's younger, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But come on, bro.
Yeah, no. The only reason I mentioned him in the first place was to think like Vince has been doing it like since his age. You know what I mean? Like, fuck.
Exactly. He's done it all already. Like, come on, bro. Go right off into the sunset, man. Fucking spoil your grandkids. Take your wife on a nice vacation or something. Maybe sleep for more than 3 hours a night. Because this dude sleeps like 4 hours a night and then goes to the gym. It's like
he works out at like 1 in the morning.
Crazy. I mean, that's good. You know what I mean? God bless the guy that he's able to do that. But it's like, let Triple H take the reins, bro. It's time. Pass the torch. But kind of going back a little bit for a second, when we were talking about Omos and Brock Lesnar having their WrestleMania match, going by what happened last night, doesn't look like it's going to be great. Just because Omos had a little bit of trouble getting Brock over the top rope. It looked a little stiff. It looked a little dangerous. In keeping that in mind, there was a report where former WWE champion Bray Wyatt was pulled from the Madison Square Garden show that took place on March 12th. He got pulled from the show unexpectedly. He was supposed to have a match with us. He was supposed to have a lights out match with LA Knight. LA Knight ended up calling out Bray Braun Strowman, and then they had a match instead. Then after that, there were rumors that he walked out of WWE. Those have neither proven to be false or true. But what is being let out is that he missed the show due to unexplained medical conditions. That's what the report is. So, in talking about Bray, I kind of wanted to segue into Bobby, because Bobby and Bray Wyatt supposedly are supposed to have a WrestleMania match. Bobby posted a tweet or an Instagram post, I'm not sure what it was, where he said, more or less, I don't care who it's against, I will be at WrestleMania. So it led to a lot of speculation where people were thinking that the match was canceled. Now we're seeing reports that's not so much the case. The match is still technically on, but it hasn't officially been canceled. But with all that information I just gave you, the point I wanted to reference was, would you like to see Bobby inserted into the Omos and Brock Lesnar matches and make it a 3-way instead of having it be that one-on-one match?
So you know what's nuts? That was the first match I thought of instantly when these rumors went around, right? Then we were texting, we said maybe an LA Knight. I saw a good tweet. Someone said maybe a returning AJ Styles would be a good match because remember he was injured. So I think that's the number one I want now after seeing that would be AJ and Bobby. But back to your what you're saying, I think I would, and I think it'd be to take the pressure off of Omos, because I do think Omos has improved. Like when you look at him when he first was tag teaming with AJ, and we've texted earlier, he's got an impressive WrestleMania resume. Won titles at his first one, went against Bobby, and now against Brock.
Right.
Because I think if done right, this could be good. That's the key word. It's done right. You know what I mean? But I think I'd like it because I don't see Omos beating Brock. Like I think Brock's gonna hit him like with some sort of F5, maybe more like an AA, and whatever. That's fine. I really don't care who wins. I'd like to see Omos win. Honestly, it'd be a shocker.
Yeah,
but I really don't give a fuck who wins. But I think I like it because Bobby and Brock have beaten each other so many times now that like one of them can pin each other and Omos that looks protected. Because the only thing I don't like they do with Omos is they do protect him, but when he's on these big stage matches, like when he was against Braun, when he was against Bobby, right? He loses, but he's like in control, I guess you would say, for like 80-85% of the match.
Right.
But it's like I'm sick, not sick, but I'd like to see him win a big stage match. It's cool. Like at the end of the day, like, yo, this dude's fighting Brock Lesnar. Like nowadays, that's like the modern day Undertaker match, you know, like who's fighting Brock? Like, so that's where I'm like, yo, good for you. Everyone can shit on it all you want, whether, you know, and that, like we said, that's a Vince thing. So I'm answering that. But yeah, I guess to sum it up, yeah, I think it'd be good. Just 3 big dudes kind of beating the shit out of each other. And then I'm kind of a fan of like when I'm trying to think, like I saw a TikTok yesterday, they were showing the WrestleMania 20 match card. And like both tag titles were defended in a fatal 4-way. Like I kind of like when certain things are similar. So you got that triple threat, and then it seems like we're gonna get that triple threat on SmackDown with Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew. So I'd be open for it. You know what I mean? Why not? Like fuck it, why not? You know what I mean? I think if anything, it's just gonna make the match bigger.
Yeah. That's for me one of the things about WrestleMania that I always liked is like them having gimmick matches at WrestleMania. Like one-on-one straight up matches, that's fine, you know. But I when I get like a straight one-on-one match, I like it to be like Seth and Randy Orton, like 2 phenomenal athletes who are you know, Seth and AJ or AJ and Finn or something, you know, 2 people who are like the shit that are gonna have a fantastic like you know, wrestling match. But I like the TLC match at WrestleMania. I like to see the Hell in a Cell or a cage match at WrestleMania to blow off a feud, or a Texas Tornado match or a ladder match. You know what I'm saying? I like that shit at WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is supposed to be like the big spectacle show. It's the big, it's the year, it's the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So it's supposed to be like a big spectacle, and for them to have these guys and to have this situation with Bray Wyatt, which we'll give our thoughts about Bray Wyatt situation in a second. If the match ends up not happening and Bobby's, kind of like doesn't have a match, I think with the fact that you have almost an MVP, it's very easy to insert Bobby into this feud. Like literally all they have to do is like they can have a face off next week. Bobby and Brock and Omos can have a face off next week, and Bobby could just come out and destroy both of them.
Yeah.
That's it. That's simple. That's simple.
Two spears.
You know what I mean? He's in boom. There. He comes out, fucking destroys them, stands tall. He's like, blah, 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 and they add him into the triple threat. Boom. I'll be good with that. And I'd even be good with Omos winning clean. Like, even if he, because I don't know what they're doing with this Hurt Business reunion thing. I don't know what they're doing. But if they decide to have Omos pin Bobby, and now Omos is replaces kind of Bobby in the Hurt Business, and they can go do their thing. And then you might even move Bobby to SmackDown and shit, because they're going to have the draft after WrestleMania. So you could even move a Bobby to a SmackDown and have some star power over there. And there's things you can do with that. And I wouldn't be mad at seeing Omos beat them. You know what I'm saying? Because he's the young guy. You know what I mean? If you're going to have him be the monster, let him be the fucking monster, bro. Don't have him keep losing, like you said, at these big stages.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree 100%, because I definitely think Bobby should go to a SmackDown too. I definitely think they could use that, because it seems like Cody is going to win, but with wrestling, you never know. But if he does win, I think that's when we do see title split. And now you need that star power, because think about it. Roman's going to take a break, probably after like Backlash. They'll probably have a rematch at Backlash or Saudi, and then he'll take a break. And then who do they got over there?
Yeah.
Like as of right now on the current, which I'm cool with that.
Yeah. No, of course. I'm cool with them. But that's it. Everyone else is a joke over there.
Gunther and Bobby would be dope.
Yeah. Hell yeah, bro. Bring it on. I'm down with that. So
yeah, but I was gonna go into the Bray stuff, but
no, yeah, go ahead.
So I'm gonna sum it up like this: if he's hurt, he's hurt. I'm just gonna leave it at that, because we hear all these reports. If he's hurt, hey, he's hurt. That's legitimate reasoning, right? Can't control injuries. But if I am gonna reference this whole walking out and maybe not happy thing, and like he just came back in October. Yeah, Extreme Rules is October, so technically not even 6 months, like 5.5, maybe just about 6. Had a great return. His first probably month, maybe month and a half was good, because he was doing these good promos, different. And then this howdy shit came. Then he's on these podcasts now saying like, just wait. And then like his good friends in charge of long-term creative. And then all of a sudden you hear like, I'm not happy, apparently, right? Or he's not happy, apparently, if he's doing this. And it's like, as we were texting, it's like, maybe this dude's just a giant pain in the ass, And I remember when they were at Clash of the Castle, Triple H did that interview with Ariel Helwani, and he said because he asked him about like 5 people coming back, and he mentioned Bray, because obviously he wasn't back at the time, and he said like he's a victim of his own creative, and and Triple H pretty much said, and I'm a true believer in this saying, is like, he can be an asshole, but at the end of the day, like, he's my asshole. Like, I'd rather him be my asshole than your asshole, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he said the word like asshole. So it just seems like he's just probably a little difficult to deal with. Now, granted, he hasn't probably been dealt with great things like that lights out match. Like, it was cool, the spectacle of it, as we said, and all that. But it's like, I don't know. I don't know what was going on there, because I do feel Bray had a lot of his character, like, as him. But man, when you had the Eater of Worlds and the Fiend, like, you really had to bring in some heat. And I just think he hasn't brought in heat, because it seems like probably since the Rumble, it seems like that's where everyone's like, fan wise, everyone's not shitting on Bray necessarily, but off the hype train.
Right. Yeah, my thing with Bray is this though. So again, I'm gonna join you in saying if he's actually legitimately hurt or something's maybe mentally whatever, he's having some problems. Cool. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
take
not
your break.
cool for him, but I mean, like, hey, go get your help, go heal up, go do whatever. That's totally fine. Like, I get it. Wrestling's not easy. The lifestyle's not easy. My only thing is if it's a physical ailment, my man ain't wrestled in 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Like he hasn't wrestled in 2 months, bro. He had one house show, I think, or maybe like 2 house shows, and then he had the lights out match. That's it. So he ain't been wrestling every night. So I don't see why he's hurt as far as that goes. But if this is one of those things where he's like not happy and my direction and my this and my that, look, bro, I pitched an idea for Bray a few episodes ago where he should be like an attraction kind of match. He could be the new Undertaker, the Fiend could be the new Undertaker, or whatever new creation he wants to be. And once a year, you can have a WrestleMania match and have some big fancy entrance and all this bullshit. If that's something that he wanted to do, and then he could spend the rest of his time kind of helping other people who are having issues developing a character, develop a character. I think that's the ideal situation for him. He can make a lot of money. He could be involved in the wrestling business. He can be creative because now you got all these people, you know, that you can kind of like, hey, you can be this, you can be that. And that might actually help people like, you know, Liv Morgan or Alexa Bliss or Nikki Cross, who's like back to being Nikki Cross, but not really. She's like a glam version of Nick. She's not even like the way she was before. So I think that's the ideal situation for him. Again, I'm not in his head. I don't know what he wants. I don't know if he wants to wrestle. If he, I feel like he doesn't even want to actually wrestle. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't seem like he actually wants to get in the ring. But again, I don't know. I just feel like if he's being a pain in the ass about this, and he's like trying to, you know, I don't know, like if he's being a diva, quote unquote, it's like, bro, you really you came back and you haven't even fleshed out anything you're doing, and they keep saying wait, but I mean, how much longer are we supposed to wait for Uncle Howdy to develop into something? Uncle Howdy sucks. Let's keep it a buck. Uncle Howdy fucking sucks. It's a nothing angle. It's not going anywhere. When he first came out and he was as himself, you know, he had a cool new look with the leather jacket and the gloves, and he came out and he spoke from the heart, and he got the audience behind him. Everybody was happy to see him. It was cool. And then you had this Uncle Howdy thing, and you had the QR codes, and you had something there where you could have built an angle. And it's like all this time's passed. You're teasing the Alexa Bliss return. You got QR codes everywhere in the background during background sketches and shit like that. And then you have Uncle Howdy coming out and doing the infamous and that goofy shit, and it's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure what it is he's having an issue with, but I feel like the character has no direction. So I don't know what he wants. Again, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what's going on. He might just have needed a break for something, and he'll be back at WrestleMania and he'll have a fucking great match with, you know, Bobby. Who knows? I would like to see that. But again, it's just, I feel like that character is just almost dead. Like, honestly, like the Uncle Howdy thing it does nothing for me. And I really don't care to see where it goes anymore. Like, I really don't care. So,
yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. Sorry, I got cut out. I took my AirPods out because they were dying, and then for some reason, I don't know if it went on your end, but my screen just went black.
Yeah, sometimes that happens with because mine are touch, and when you go to, like they're always falling out. So when I go to adjust it, I tap it, and then it closes my fucking audio on my call or whatever.
Yeah, and then after I make this quick statement, I'm probably gonna hop out and head back in. For some reason, you sound like a squeaky mouse, and it's probably my iPad, and it's just gonna bother me. But yeah, no, I definitely, I definitely agree that. Yeah, it's just I don't know, unless they do something crazy with Bray to get like I don't think fans are turning on him. I just think fans aren't as intrigued as they are with this as they have been with the other things, as we were saying. And it's like it needs to happen sooner rather than later, obviously, because we want that as fans. I just think it needs to, just because this return's been like lackluster. Now, granted, like him and LA Knight, they're good together on the mic and things like that, but I don't think doing a feud with Bobby is the one that's going to save it, only because everyone like loves Bobby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't see people turning on Bobby. Like, the only people I really see cheering for Bray in this match, if it happens, are like the true Bray fans. Like, I love Bray, but man, I love Bobby. I'm cheering for Bobby over Bray. You know what I mean? Now, if Bray wins, whatever, maybe that's how Bobby gets written off until after the draft or some shit. I guess we'll just see how they go to it. But yeah, the only thing I've liked about Bray since the Rumble is the Muscle Man. the first feud thing with Bobby, I don't know, the Muscle Man dance. I don't know. When he did that like in 2019, that got a pop out of me back then. And it was funny because like, yo, you referenced it and you're trying to show off that you're jacked, which will keep Bray kind of a big dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But not like Bobby big. But yeah, I'm just gonna back out real quick. I'll be right back in.
So we'll get back to WWE later. So what we're going to do on this episode is we're going to go through a bunch of news stories here. Some have a little more meat to them. Some are just kind of things we want to go over. Uh-oh, there goes my throat again. Some things we want to go over. Some things we kind of just want to put light on. So one of those things that I saw today was Anthem Sports, which is the owner of Impact Wrestling, went through a recent restructuring. Now, I have a bunch of names here. I'm going to bore you with the details, but it's pertinent to the situation. So, Anthem Sports has done a restructuring of their CEOs and their they did a restructuring here. And so starting from the top here, we have Richard Schaefer being named the president of Anthem Sports Group, which again owns Impact Wrestling. Scott D'Amore, who is the quote-unquote face of Impact Wrestling on TV and in the back, has been promoted to president of Impact Wrestling, like legit president of Impact Wrestling. Lou D'Angeli joins Anthem as a vice president of marketing. And Richard Schaefer, if you guys don't know, is the ex-CEO of Golden Boy Promotions, which is the De La Hoya conglomerate sports group thing. So he was the ex-CEO of there. So now he's moving on he's a big fan of combat sports and wrestling. So he's taking over. This is the man that's taking over basically the Anthem channel. So what it says here is that Anthem will aggressively pursue additional acquisitions in combat sports and professional wrestling. Promotions are his background and will be leveraged to establish a boxing promotion platform. And Ed Nordholm, who's the former Impact president, is now the chief corporate officer of Anthem. So the reason I bring this up is because it's a good thing, because Anthem has been through some tumultuous situations, and it's good for them to actually be able to kind of restructure themselves and now have a bigger stake. Which, whoa, Nicholas is sideways, guys. Nicholas is sideways.
I had to switch to my phone. I apologize. You just were coming in like you sound like this, like a squeaky mouse, and I think my iPad was just being dumb.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, it was really terrible. You didn't sound like you at all, and I was getting kind of worried.
I think if you turn your phone the other way, you'll get the full picture, but that's if it'll landscape for you, because you might have your phone on. It might be locked on landscape or whatever. There you go. There we go. You get your bigger picture. You just got to adjust yourself. But again, guys, it's a good thing. More wrestling is good, even though we're basically now getting wrestling 6 fucking days a week. I'm waiting for somebody to pull out a Sunday show, and then we're just going to have wrestling 7 days a week. And it's going to be wrestling everything. Eventually, there'll be a wrestling channel, and there'll just be wrestling playing 24/7. Besides, obviously, what you can get on Peacock. But this is cool because I like it because Impact has been on a run lately. They got some great wrestlers on their roster. You know, Moose and Joe Hendry, Motor City Machine Guns. You got a bunch of guys on that roster. Dieter. and a lot of low key dudes like in the X division who don't get the shine that they should. So if this is going to mean bigger things for Impact, more production, bigger venues, more TV time, if someone like an MLW ends up getting some TV time, because they're talking about adding more wrestling like content. So, and it's not just adding more Impact shows, it's like getting another wrestling promotion on TV. So if they get a small thing like a XPW or, you know, one of these like really intense, these intense like indies who have like a rabid fan base and they get them on TV, it could be a big deal. So it's just good news all around for them. I don't know if you had any kind of thoughts on this or whatever. It's not really like too much to discuss, but it's just like a cool thing that I saw on there that I thought we'd bring up.
Yeah, no, I think it's dope because, like you said, at the end of the day, you always want to see a company do good, especially like an Impact, because they've been around for so long. They have such great talent. You know what I mean? So getting them on a bigger stage, maybe with people, not saying they don't take it serious, but you know what I mean? Something maybe a little more serious and stuff. I don't know, I think it'd be perfect. I missed some of what you were saying, obviously, for getting in, but
yeah,
like shit, I'm all for it. But yeah, we about to have wrestling 7 days a week, because with some of these pay-per-views and please being on Sundays from time to time.
Oh my god, yeah.
And shit, we really about to get there.
Yeah, it'd be really cool if we could like get away from Sunday pay-per-views all around and everybody put your pay-per-views on Saturday and you just make sure you don't overlap each other, and that'd be fucking fantastic. So kind of getting back into the story stuff here that we have. Ruby Soho was she was doing an interview with Fightful, and she was discussing the criticism of women getting busted open during matches. She had a pretty long statement here, so I'm just going to go ahead and read it and bore you guys to death with it, and then we'll kind of talk about her take afterwards. So after that match aired, the reaction to it was very interesting to me. At first, I didn't know how I felt about it, but as time went on, I realized that this is a conversation that needs to be had. Because if blood in general is not just your thing, I totally get it. I completely understand it, and that's okay. That's why wrestling is a beautiful melting pot of things, because there's something out there for everybody, said Ruby. If the fact that I'm a woman and I'm bleeding is the thing that bothers you, but you're cool with Mox and MJF or whoever else bleeding, but it's just because I'm doing it is that thing you have a problem with, then that's a different conversation. Because at the end of the day, all we want as women wrestlers is to be treated equally, to be treated the same, she continued. So to think that a very important conversation to be had, because there were arguments on both sides to me. And I feel like straying away from one thing that we are trying to get away from is the reason that is women's wrestling, is to give you something to look at. That seemed like a very loaded sentence. I feel like it's straying away from the one thing that we are trying to get away from. Is that the reason? I think that's a typo that I copied, and that's why I'm reading it fucked up. Is that the reason that women's wrestling is to give you something to look at? Yeah, whoever wrote this wrote it fucked up. I didn't write this, guys, FYI, because it would have been much better. When in reality, obviously, if I'm covered in blood, I'm probably less attractive to most people. If that's your problem, then sorry to tell you, I'm just going to keep getting more unattractive, because my lipstick's all over my face all the time. My hair looks like I got electrocuted constantly when I'm wrestling, and that's not what I'm out there to be attractive to you. So if that's what you're watching me for, then stop watching me. There are a lot of other colorful words that I could use, but at the end of the day, if you got a problem with it, don't watch it. This to me is another example of us being treated equally in the vein of wrestling, and women's wrestling is to be treated the same, to have the same expectation as the guys, and to be able to do everything the guys are doing, including looking like Carrie. So, I'm in agreement with her. Like, I feel like women get a disappropriate amount of hate, especially in WWF and AEW. Like, bro, I just watched the GCW show. As I'm constantly trying to get into that promotion, I just watched a fucking intergender cage death match. No, matter of fact, there was two matches. It was an intergender. They were both intergender matches, and one of them was a cage match with Alley Catch and some dude who I don't know. I'm sorry for all you GCW fucking nerds out there. I don't know who all these people are. I only know a couple of them. Dude, she pulled a knife on this guy. Like she was going to stab this guy. They were hitting each other with light tubes and fucking razor wire and throwing each other into the cage. She was bleeding. He was bleeding. Everybody was fucking bleeding. And on the same show, there was a death match, literally a death match with Masha Slamovich, who is signed to Impact Wrestling, who if I was Scott D'Amore, I'd be like, fuck you. You're never doing this shit again. She had a death match with another dude who I don't know. And bro, this guy's busting light tubes over her face. She's jumping through glass tables. At the finish of the match was I think it was like almost like a 187, kind of like a muscle buster move. She gave him through a plane of glass that didn't break. So he hit that shit hard and went down. And she almost looked like she hit the back of her fucking head on it when she went. I was like, bro, if I was a promoter and you were in my company, you would not be able to do that shit. But I don't disagree with the right for them to go do it if that's what they want to do. But, you know, you got to protect your investment too at the same time. But that's a different conversation than what I'm trying to have here. What I'm saying is that these GCW fans were fucking, bro, they were eating this shit up. Like they were fucking all into these matches. And as much as I was kind of weirded out, because I'm not the biggest fan of intergender matches. I'm just not. Look, I love wrestling. I just don't get it. I can't bring myself to, like, watching wrestling. Sometimes you have to have a suspension of disbelief. Like if you're watching, like, I don't know, Rey Mysterio versus The Big Show, you know, you're kind of like, okay, dude, like really, you're about to fucking beat The Big Show, and that's not the best comparison I'm trying to make. Because, I'm not trying to say one's weaker than the other, but it's just like I don't like that shit. I just don't like it. It's not my thing. I don't hate it. I don't have anything against it. I'm not rallying that it shouldn't be happening. I don't enjoy intergender matches. But, you know, if that's what they want to go do, that's fine. They can go do it. It's just that, again, going back to WCW and AEW fans, they seem to pick apart like anything that these women do, man. And it's really getting fucking old. Like, let these people go out there and entertain you. They're putting their bodies on the line. If that's the story they want to tell, if the story involves blood, it involves blood. Like, you could go just like that. You can fucking turn that shit right off if you don't like it. The bitching on Twitter and the bullying people. Look what they just did to fucking Riho. They bullied Riho off of fucking Twitter. Like, you guys have to fucking stop this shit. Like, you really got to fucking stop being incels. So if these women want to go out there and bleed, it's not your prerogative to fucking want to look like want them to look a certain way for you. They're not like your toys. They're out there doing a job and they're out there doing a show. So watch it or don't.
Yeah, no, dude, I agree with you. You know what I mean? And they haven't even done it like that a crazy amount of times. They've done it more lately.
I don't even think she bladed for that match. That shit just happened.
Yeah, but I could say in AEW's tenure, they've maybe had like 8 matches, if I had to guess, like a rough estimate of how many like that. Like you said, dude, if it's not your cup of tea, it's not your cup of tea. I'm with you with the whole like death match with the women and stuff. Just not me. I don't hate on it. It's just not my cup of tea, like you said. But yeah, like if Ruby Soho goes out there and there's this long feud, you know what I mean? Like where they're going right now with the Outcast. That's what the group's called, the trio. If they get into this big feud with, say, Hayter and Britt and then someone else or whoever, maybe Sheeta or whoever, I don't know.
Yeah.
And they bleed in that match, like, yo, who cares? That's like tensions, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, I don't know. People, like you said, people on Twitter just make everything a big deal, dude. That's what it all just boils down to at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Because if they were really getting that much backlash and that much shit for it, they wouldn't be doing it. As we said before online, these shows are pulling in 1 million, 2 million views. They don't care. Like, yeah, they want to cater everyone, but the IWC ain't as big as they fucking think they are.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Literally the vocal minority.
Yeah, there's someone out there right now there's two different types of people probably. There are probably people who don't have Twitter, right? Who sit at home, see, and like, I don't like it, but they probably still watch the show. And then it's that same person, or a different person, I mean, doesn't have Twitter, watches it. Oh, that's cool that the women are bleeding.
Yeah.
Then you got the people on the internet. How dare you ruin? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's just it's a shame that because honestly, I know in that match, I don't think she bladed. As far as I remember it, I think it was like an accident that she got busted open and she was fucking leaking.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing happened to the bunny. The bunny had a match. She got fucking completely busted open and she just went with it. Like, what's she supposed to do? Oh, no, I'm not supposed to bleed. Like, she started bleeding and she fucking went with it. And she did the whole Crimson Mask thing and she was making faces. And it's like, she's bleeding. It happens. It's a physical wrestling match. These women are going out there and trying to like go ham. You know what I'm saying? Shit happens. So for these people to like say they should stay pretty and not fucking bleed, and it's like, y'all gotta fucking...
Dude, some of the best women's photos we've seen and as of late or in history have to deal with blood. Like, I think when Ty Conti, they had that one street fight, she had like a pretty badass photo in the blood. Then you can reference Becky Lynch when she was bleeding from the nose or whatever. And then like Ruby looked sick, the bunny, like, I don't know, like, I'm not saying they should do it often because they look cool, you know what I mean? But it creates some iconic women memories, the blood.
Did I ever tell you I got a cease and desist from WWE because
what?
I have a TeePublic store. I can't believe I never fucking told you this. It's not a big deal, but I have I have the TeePublic store, and before I like made all the podcast shirts, I took that picture of Becky Lynch, like the one where she's in the crowd, with the bloody face, where she's kind of like standing like this with the SmackDown shirt, the blue SmackDown shirt,
like the arms out or whatever.
Like what? And she's fucking bleeding. I took that picture and I made a shirt with it. I put it on a shirt because I wanted it, bro. I wanted that picture on a fucking shirt, and I put it on TeePublic, and I put it I meant to put it private just so that I could like create it, buy it, have them print it, and send it to me. But I put it public, and I think I sold like 2 or 3 of them. And then I got like an email. I got a thing from TeePublic popped up, like not even like an email. It was like a pop up thing. It was like, and they took it off. They completely removed it out of my store. Like, yeah, they didn't even tell me take it down. They just removed that shit. And it's a pop-up popped up saying something like copyrighted content violation notice. We've removed one of your items from... It was super generic, but it was like basically it was like a cease and desist thing that they sent me for having a copyrighted content. But yeah, again, it's just fucking silly, man.
Dude. And now that we're on that subject, really quick, her getting her face busted open and bleeding made her who she is today.
Right. Yeah.
So all you same people who praise the ground she walks on, because God knows most people do.
Yeah.
Doing this with these women from time to time might help them get to that next level. You know what I mean? Yeah. Pretty sure if you told Ruby Soho, hey, every once in a while you're going to bleed, but it's going to get you to another level. Are you down? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's actually a really big moment in like definitely in WWE women's history, but like even women's wrestling period. Like that whole thing, Nia Jax punched the shit out of her. Like that punch was brutal, bro. She literally crossed her right across the fucking nose and broke her nose. Yeah. And for her to just take that pain and literally turn it into a whole persona, like she turned that shit into the man Becky Lynch. Like it was incredible. Like she got up, she played that shit off, she got into the crowd. Like what? Like that shit was super dope, bro.
It was
super dope. Keep it in line with the women here. It's heavily rumored that on this Wednesday, AEW Dynamite's in Canada. Okay, it's heavily rumored that there's going to be a special appearance by a woman wrestler to challenge Jade Cargill for this open challenge that she put out. A lot of people are saying that it's going to be Taya Valkyrie who's going to show up and challenge Jade Cargill. Now, she's finished up with Impact Wrestling because that's where she was signed to. It looks like her contract's up. She's done with them. and she's also has ties to MLW, which I believe she's going to be leaving there soon. So, would you like to see Taya Valkyrie end the reign of Jade Cargill this Wednesday?
Fuck, man. I want to say no because I do love Jade, but it's a hell of a way to debut someone, especially if they're no shit staying with the company. And I don't know who you have groomed, unless they have someone they plan to groom between now and say like Double or Nothing in May.
They have nobody, bro.
Yeah, so I'm cool with it because it brings someone in hot, gets the title, and then it, in a fucked up way, could you say it protects Jade by losing to her? Because there's this new opponent. She has no idea.
Surprise opponent, veteran opponent, won championships fucking in Japan and Mexico. And well, I don't think she won anything in WWE, but that's not really her fault. But she's a great fucking talent. She can take that belt and they can continue to elevate that division, and they can move Jade right on into like the heavyweight division, move her right up into like the main women's roster.
Yeah, I guess I'm definitely cool with it. Definitely cool with it. But if Jade loses, I mean wins, like I'll be like, whatever. I like Jade, so it's a little. Even though the reign's getting stale, when you like someone, you know what I mean. You're not gonna be mad when they win.
Yeah, it's just like it's time. They don't. I don't feel like they have any kind of idea what to do with Jade at this point with this reign. Like I think they wanted to have Statlander be the one to end it, but Statlander's still a ways away from coming back. And like she's really the only woman on that roster that I'd buy. Like honestly,
beating Jade.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And Taya Valkyrie is one of those where she's in good shape. Like she's viable. She's a viable athlete. She can wrestle. She's dope.
Yeah, definitely.
So I wouldn't be mad at all if she showed up and then won. Like that would be. She's gonna get a gigantic pop in Canada for sure. And it will be a moment. It'll be a definite moment for AEW. And then have her have a run and move Jade on up, bro. It's time for Jade to go into the. I need to see Jade with that women's championship. Not anytime soon, but it's gonna happen. She has to have that fucking belt. She don't have to have a long run with it, but she has to be women's champion, bro. Come on, bro. That's Jade Cargill, yeah. She should be going after the main title.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. Intrigued to see what happens. Yeah, I think they got to do something different with Jade. The streak thing was cool at first, but I think what really killed it for me was that when she was going for 50-0, they didn't make it a big deal, like at all. I think she won it on a random rampage.
Yeah, it was. I don't know, bro. They just, it's like they had an idea and it fizzled. And they're just continuing to, okay, well, she's got the baddies and when she got another win, Like once you got past 50, it was like, we're going to go to 100 now? She's going to win 100 matches in a row? Like, come on, bro. The shit has to come to an end eventually. Even the Undertaker fucking lost eventually, dude.
So let me ask you, kind of speaking with the women and in AEW while we're on it, Saraya said she wants women's tag titles. What are your thoughts?
Nah, bro. Nah. That company already has too many titles, man. It's like, it was cool when, like, they introduced the TBS title because I felt like they had enough women on that roster to kind of justify that, having that second championships for your mid card and then your higher tier.
Mm-hmm.
You got the fucking, bro. And even, I mean, I don't want to count the ROH titles because let's separate that, even though they're still being shown every week on Dynamite. But it's like you got your heavyweight title, you got your fucking TNT title, you got your tag team titles, you got your trios titles, you got an all Atlantic title.
No, international.
Yeah, now it's an international title. You got the FTW belt, which gets defended every once in a while. Women's title, TBS title. It's like they don't even really have women's tag teams. Like you have to build that division first and then have titles for it. Like you can't just be like, hey, you and you team up and hey, you want to team up? Let's go at, like, I don't like that shit. When I like tag teams to have a fucking tag team name and tag team uniforms. Like I like the old school shit. Like, yeah, bro, the fucking bar. Like the Street Profits. They have outfits. They have a name. We are the Street Profits. And we're not just, Chad Gable and Otis, even though Chad Gable and Otis are Alpha Academy, but don't just start throwing people together just to make a division. It's just I don't think that I don't know why. Like, I'm usually down for it, but I'm not a fan of that idea, bro.
Yeah,
I don't think
too soon. Just too soon to do too much.
Yeah, you should build that division up first. Start building up some tag teams. Start holding some tournaments. Have more tag team matches on TV. It's hard enough for them to get women on TV as it is, bro.
Yeah.
And now you're gonna add tag teams to the mix. It's like I don't know how he'd be able to do it. So I don't know, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. Not a big fan of the idea for some reason. Speaking of tag teams, Dax Hardwood was on his FTR with Dax podcast, and he said when they introduced the Pinnacle, that the original idea that he was pitching was that he wanted Britt Baker or Serena Deeb in the Pinnacle. He said, we really wanted Britt. There were talks of Britt being in the group, but Britt is a standalone star. No one needs to mess with her. She's great. The other one that I really wanted to talk to Tony Khan about and was pretty excited about the idea was Serena Deeb. Up until that point, she had been a babyface, and I think that she fits really well with what the Pinnacle was, especially Cash and myself. Just an incredible wrestler who's considered a badass among the women. These are the two, and closest probably was Serena Deeb. So, this is one of those women who I sorely miss on television. I'm wearing her shirt today, kind of a coincidence, but not really. Because when I saw it whenever I do this show, like, this is a little inside baseball, but whenever we do this show, I open up my drawer and it's just full of fucking wrestling shirts. It's just wrestling shirts everywhere. And I just fucking I'll grab that one. Now, this one was on the bottom of the freaking pile. I haven't worn this shit in forever. And I knew we were talking about Deeb on this episode, so I threw it on. But Serena Deeb is one of those talents that I really miss seeing on TV. She's fucking awesome.
She's very, 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 very good.
I'm very glad that Riho's back. She seems to be back on TV. I think she's having a match on Rampage this week. But dude, what a missed opportunity to have Serena Deeb in the Pinnacle, bro. That would have been fucking dope. If she'd have been in that group, they could have done a million things with that. And Deeb has gone through some like different character changes because she was kind of like a face for a little bit, and then she went heel, and then she became like the professor of women's wrestling gimmick, which I enjoyed it all. And now she's just like off TV, and I don't know what the fuck they're doing with her. So part of me bringing up this article was because I wanted to talk about Serena Deeb and say how much I miss her. She's the bomb.
She helps out backstage though and stuff too, right? And
I hope so.
Talent, I think that's what she does, right?
I hope so. I hope that they're giving her something to do because she's the best women's wrestler on the roster. Like she's the best. So
I know when I saw her in Thunder Rosa last year, I was like,
yeah, man, fucking A. Like when they wrestled for that, they were wrestling for she beat Thunder Rosa for the NWA women's championship when they first started, when Thunder Rosa was like still in NWA but wrestling on AEW and shit. They had that match, and those were great. And of course, one of my match of the year candidates a year or two ago was her and Riho at that I think it was Double or Nothing on the pre-show. Fucking, I watched that match all the time. Matter of fact, I need to rewatch that soon because I haven't watched it in a while. Fantastic.
I have to say this quick because you mentioned NWA. I saw a tweet last night and it said at NWA, I don't know, one of their pay-per-views, I forget the name, but at NWA, blah, 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 Bray Wyatt versus Tyrus for the NWA World Champion.
Wow.
I started dying.
Yo, here's one thing. I think I have a dude at my job who watches this show. Hey, man, y'all got to stop with this Tyrus shit. Stop calling me Tyrus, bro. I don't look like Tyrus. I don't want to hear it. These motherfuckers keep calling me Tyrus, bro. The reason why they do that, though, and I know why, is obviously because I'm a big dude, number one. But I have a black hat that I wear at work. It's a black fitted hat, and I always wear it backwards. So I have the chin strap beard, of course, and I wear my fucking hat backwards. So of course, when I take my glasses off, they're like, yo, Tyrus. It's like, yo, I don't want to hear that shit, bro. Don't fucking compare me to that fucking.
That's true disrespect.
I'm not trying to hear that shit. But Yeah, I'm over here saying don't call me Tyrus, and I'm saying it on the show, which is probably going to get me more fucking Tyrus
That's
bullshit.
gonna be your new. That's gonna be your another new nickname on top of Louis Murder.
Yay. Yeah. So keeping in line with AEW, one of the biggest things that happened last week when you were away was MJF throwing a drink on a young fan at the Revolution pay-per-view. There was a lot
Loved it.
Okay. A lot of angry fucking people at MJF about that. One of those people was Jake the Snake Roberts, who was on, get this, he was on the Cafe de Rene podcast with Rene Dupree. I didn't know that existed until I saw this news article. Cafe de Rene. Could you not come up with a better name? I don't know. But that is definitely a podcast that exists. And Jake Roberts was on there, and he said, and I quote, yeah, by far, MJF is the best talker. Anything when you do something to a fan is too much, though. MJF throwing a drink on this kid, it was too much. Here's the thing, guys. The fans are the ones that make you. Don't be like, hey, you fat fucking bitch, because there's no need for that. Number one, she probably is a fat bitch, and the kids besides her know her mama's fat, and she doesn't need to be reminded. Is she going to come back after that? I doubt it, because the kids are crying. The guy made fun of my mama, and I'm not fucking coming back to watch this bullshit. There's absolutely no need to attack the fans. Zero, none, zilch. MJF does have a problem with going too far. I think he just gets going, and he just lets go, and you can't let that go. You got to keep control of your shit. Now, I will say this. I thought it was fucking hilarious when he did it. Now,
yeah.
Some people were saying the kid was a plant. I don't think the kid was a plant. I mean, again, this is one of those pro wrestling things where it's like, it's literally like gypsies. It's gypsies because you don't know what's real, what's fake. That's why, for the most part, they call fans marks because they're working you and you don't even know it. So I don't know if the kid was a plant. I took it as not because it was just such a random thing, but I thought it was fucking hilarious. He's a heel. This is the thing, guys. He's a fucking heel. His character is, he's the biggest scumbag ever. That's literally his character. He is a conceited scumbag.
He literally says he's the devil.
Calls himself the devil. Is just a total douchebag. The type of dude that when you were in high school, he thought he was the shit and you just wanted to fucking beat his ass. That's what he's playing. A douchebag. So he's going to do shit like this. And you guys who like this, the reason I put this article up here is because I have a lot of friends on Twitter I follow who like love wrestling. Like sometimes I think a little too much. And bro, it's like you guys don't. They were like tweeting at, like, have you ever tweeted at an actual wrestler because you were mad at them? Like, have you ever done that? No. I've never done that.
The only person I used to tweet at was like Liv Morgan.
Yeah, but to like just because like you might get, attention. Okay, that I understand. But have you ever seen something on television or something and you're like, oh, fucking MJF.
Never.
Oh, never. Fucking, like, come on, bro. You are a mark. You're literally a mark. Like, you're being worked.
Dude, the reason why I don't think it's that big of a deal, and it's to reference our good friend Carl, is because MJF, I think this is right before it, like AEW was in existence, but it wasn't on air yet. But it was like the summer of 19. He went to a show, and long story short, MJF threw like his gum at him. And Carl was like, oh my God, right? Like we all thought it was hysterical. Yes, in the heat of the moment, would the mom be upset, the kid, whatever. But one of two things. For his friends that watch, yeah, they might bust his chops like his friends, but at the end of the day, they're like, yeah, like, but how was it? But think about it. That kid sticks with being a wrestling fan or not, even if he like goes to the point where he's over it. That's going to be a story he tells forever. You know what I mean? Like, and that's going to be in video packages, and that's like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't. And it's water. And it's supposedly the main event.
Somebody said it was vodka. I don't know. I wasn't there.
How the fuck did they know?
And why is this woman drinking a cup of vodka with a child that she has to drive home? I don't know. But
yeah, I just
thought it was a drink.
Yeah, dude, and it's just like who cares? You know what I mean? And MJF probably knew what he was doing in a way. Because think about it, there are so many kids that go to the shows, right? He easily could have done that with anyone. He probably knew what he was doing. I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal. You know what I mean? Luckily the mom didn't put hands on him. Shove him or something.
My favorite thing about this whole situation, besides watching some of these people that I follow have a meltdown, my favorite thing about the situation was the scrum. When one of the reporters asked him, they go, "So, MJF," he's like, "This is whatever my name is from comicbook.com." And MJF is like, "Oh yeah, comicbook.com. Wow, we got the big news outlets here." And he's like, he already busting balls. And the guy goes, "Yeah." So he goes, "There was a lot of hoopla about you throwing a drink on a young." He was like, mm-hmm. He's like, "You had a lot of hoopla about you throwing this drink on this young man in the audience." Tony, what MJF, what were you thinking in the situation? And Tony, what were you thinking in the situation? MJF goes, "Kid looked thirsty. Next question."
Yeah.
Kid looked thirsty. Next question. Come on, man. That's
on top of it. It's not like they didn't take care of him. The mom and him went backstage. There's the photo going around of the young man.
That kid got to go backstage. He got probably 27 different shirts and belts, and they took pictures with everybody and got to tour backstage. Come on, bro.
Dude, if I could go tour backstage, and this is where I might sound like a mark, but fuck it, we all have our moments. If I got told, or if I knew, hey, someone's gonna throw water at you and even squirt mustard on you after, but at the end you're gonna go backstage, I'd be like, all right.
Yeah. Pour a bucket of trash over my head, bro. Just let me get the logo on camera, number one, and then we'll go backstage and I get to take a bunch of pictures, bro. If that's the way I get to meet Abaddon, so be it.
Dude, we know how it is. At the end of the day, and I hope people don't take this the wrong way, but the IWC just over fucking reacts to everything.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Yeah.
It's just mm-hmm. And again, these people who are like people, MJF brings this shit out of these people, because I've noticed that some of my I don't want to call them my followers because we mutually follow each other. Some of these people, when MJF does shit, they go out of their mind. A few months ago when he referenced having some kind of mental I forget what it was, man. Before the car accident thing, he mentioned something about having a learning disability. He said something about, when I was a kid in high school, I had this learning disability and I was Jewish and they were kicking my ass. It was something along that line. Dude, the people who were fucking on Twitter screaming about how dare he use mental disabilities to further his character and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God, bro, but this guy can't say anything. He can't say anything. It's not like he was saying, it's not like he was calling someone, the hard R word, or, making fun of people like Trump doing the fucking, we don't talk about politics and that shit here, but it's not like he was doing anything like that. You know what I mean? He integrated into his storyline about himself, and people were furious about that shit. And it's like, yo, you guys, man, at the end of the day, it's wrestling, bro. He's trying to get that rise out of you. It's like, I don't know why they don't see it.
And he certainly does it. He certainly does it. Yeah, dude.
So, getting a little bit more serious here. So this story bothered me, and for a couple different reasons. So John Cena was being interviewed. It says here the Associated Press. So I don't know who it was, Vanity Fair, or I don't know who the fuck was interviewing him. And they asked him about Vince McMahon's sexual misconduct allegations. And his statement was no. I mean, everyone has the right to their perspective. I have the right to have mine. And when you love somebody, you take them as imperfectly perfect as they are. We all make mistakes. We all make poor decisions. Lord knows I've made my collection of poor choices, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to love somebody. There's no way I can go on record and say I don't love Vince McMahon. Now, this is my thing. Like, why the fuck are you asking John Cena this?
It's like you're trying to get him in trouble in a way.
Exactly. Like, you're trying to ask this guy a question. It's like, so John, what do you think about Vince's sexual misconduct allegations?
Yeah,
and like waiting for him to say some shit so that like,
dude, you could
cancel
ask me.
you. We can get you the fuck out of here. We can make you look like shit. You say the wrong word here, and we're gonna fucking totally throw this. Like, dog, there's no fucking. I get it. John Cena comes from WWE. Him and Vince McMahon are very close. That's fine. I understand that. But like things like this, they really fucking bother me because it's like you're literally asking him this question. You don't give a fuck. You're just trying to get any kind of angle where you can
trying to get a news article heading.
Yeah, you want the headline.
Like he's got so much going on too. He's back in WWE, right? He's made his return in his home area, and then he's killing it in the movie scene, right? Because they have he's in the new Fast and Furious again, right?
Yeah.
And then he's got a couple other things coming out, I believe, soon, right?
I'm sure he's
but
in the DC. He's in the DC universe thing, so I'm sure he'll be popping back up in DC at some point. Like he's got a bunch of shit going on.
Did they renew season 2 of Peacemaker?
I don't know. I actually haven't watched season 1.
Because it was very successful.
Yeah.
So I hope they did. But you know what I mean? He's got so much going on, and that's what you ask him.
Yeah, man. It's just gross. Like, again, Vince McMahon has a bunch of allegations against him. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. I was not on the plane. I was not in the limo. I wasn't backstage. I don't know. All I know is what's reported. You know what I mean? So if he's not in jail for the shit, then it's innocent until proven guilty. Like, I don't know. I don't know. So you ask me what I think about Vince McMahon, it's just like, why are you fucking asking me this?
Yeah.
And then if John Cena's fucked either way, because he can't be like, I'm not, no comment. Because then it's like, oh, no comment. Why? No comment, John. Why? No comment. Like, why? No comment, buddy. It's just like, he's fucked either way, dude. So he literally answered this the best way he could. He led with love, which, you know, I don't see any other way you could have answered this question because he's not going to shit on Vince because he's going to WrestleMania. So I think the answer itself was fine. Some people were obviously on our favorite social media platform. We're all up in John's shit because they're like, oh, well, nice, safe answer, John. We're like, but what the fuck do you want him to say? What do you want him to say?
People are just stupid.
Yeah, they're pieces of shit, literally. Like, I love wrestling, but I hate wrestling fans. That's gonna be my new thing. That's another shirt. I gotta start writing these shirt ideas down.
I love wrestling.
Love wrestling, hate wrestling fans because they suck for the most part. Look at this. You saw the Knick Liv Morgan at the fucking Knick game with homeboy?
Yeah, looking fine. What about when she was not apparently ignoring that one guy?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. She's sitting at the game and this dude's talking. She's like at courtside and she's like, oh, look, you see her face. And she's like, oh my God, like, leave me alone, bro. And this dude's just, I want to know who that dude is. And I want to know what the fuck he was talking about. Like, what the fuck was he talking about?
That's a badass photo she took too with the Knicks jersey.
Oh yeah. Where's my phone? That is my phone wallpaper right there.
Because she's probably, I don't know how she is with sports, but she actually, she might be a no shit Knicks fan. I know was alive for the New Jersey Nets, so maybe she likes them. But
I think she's a Knicks fan because she's all about it. But first of all, shout out to her because this is the second time that I've seen her in a very uncomfortable position, and she handled it like a fucking professional. The first one was the airport thing, where these fucking idiots were pushing all this shit in her face.
At like 6 in the morning,
you could tell that she was very fucking annoyed, but she stopped and she signed the shit. She didn't have to do that shit because those dudes were following her like everywhere, and they're collectors and they're doing it to resell the shit. They're not little kids.
Yeah.
So she actually stopped. She didn't have to do that. She signed your shit, and she gave you what you wanted. And now she's here at this game trying to enjoy the game, and this dude is fucking trying to talk her ear off, which I can't say I blame the guy for shooting his shot, but my God, read the room, bro. If you see that look on her face, you should be like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna watch the game because
that's a girl who historically always looks happy.
Yeah, so for real. So when you see she's very her face is like it's super transparent energetic. How she's feeling. Like it's very, very, you can tell. So, dude, when I saw that video, I felt immediately grossed out because I was like, oh my God, look at her face, bro. She's not happy. Like she was squirming in her chair. She was literally like,
it came out who it was. He's someone who works for WWE.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it did come out.
Oh, no shit.
I thought it was a nice guy. Dude. She said, I was just trying to watch the game. I think it was someone like one of the content people nice. Probably to be there for photos. But still, regardless, read the room, bro.
Yeah, of course she's going to say something nice. Of course, dude. That woman, she looks like a saint. So, yeah, dude. We went from Cena to Liv Morgan, but again, at the end of the day, dude. I'm never going
to be mad at that transition.
Yeah, for real. Leave these people alone, bro.
She's not going to be on Mania. Low-key upset.
Yeah, I'm wondering what they're gonna do with her because they don't really seem to be. I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't watched SmackDown in like 3 weeks. Really, I'm ending up catching It seems to me like the first 5 minutes of SmackDown and the last 10 minutes of SmackDown is what you need to be watching, and I can catch that on YouTube. So
it seems like because I think Triple H is doing away with those like Andre the Giant and women's battle royals. I think he's getting away from that. So
as well, he should.
Yeah, he should.
Well, he should cut down on that number of matches, bro. Please, too many, too much.
Yeah, because I guess real quick, what are we at? You're at Roman and Cody, the Intercontinental match. We don't know who it is yet, but then Brock and almost. We'll say Bobby and Bray just to say it.
Right.
Edge and Finn, the 2 women's title matches, the women's 6 person match,
the tag team match that hasn't been established yet.
Yeah, tag team match hasn't been established yet. There's one more that hasn't been. Cena in Theory is 10. Cena in Theory.
And Edge already, right? Cena in Theory.
Yep. Then Logan
they said that LA Knight's gonna do something. I think LA Knight honestly is gonna come out and start talking shit, some Hollywood shit, and I think Stone Cold's gonna come out.
Yeah,
I think we're gonna get something like that. So he might have something.
Because look where Kevin Owens went from there. Not that Kevin Owens was a big star already, but they're at like 11 or 12. So you're probably looking at like six matches each night.
That's not bad though. That's not bad at all.
No, probably 3, maybe 3 hours each show.
Yeah, that's not bad.
You got to think Brock and almost.
That's not gonna last long.
10 minutes.
Yeah, that's not lasting long. The Hell in a Cell match is probably gonna take like half an hour total with the entrances and everything and the ending and whatever. That's probably half an hour.
The main event will probably take at least an hour because of Roman's 50-minute entrance.
I would say like 35, maybe 40 minutes for the main event.
Yeah.
So 3 hours seems about right. You got the tag team matches too. It'd probably be a good 20 minutes. Women's matches, 20, 25 minutes or so. Depending, you know what I'm saying? Because it's going to be Rhea and Charlotte. I think that match will probably do. It's going to be a good. I think
that's going to go longer than Asuka and Bianca.
Yeah.
Logan and Seth, I bet you get some time.
Oh yeah,
20 minutes.
So, 3 hours sounds reasonable, man. I think it's a good.
That's not bad each night, especially.
I like that.
Yeah, because is it starting at 7 or 8 on the East Coast? I haven't looked.
At 7 is the pre-show, and then 8 o'clock is the actual start time.
Which Mania is the only show. Mania is the only show I watched in the pre-show. Like actually, like it's always on. I have like even with like AEW, I watch.
Yeah. Well, now with that trash ass fucking pre-show AEW is doing, bro, I'm not gonna be watching that shit.
Oh yeah, how was the pre-show for Revolution?
Man, that shit was trash. That shit was doo-doo, son. They tried to copy. They literally copied the WWE pre-show shit. They had Renee like the whole time there with a mic in her hand, and then she's like, "Oh, let's go to Lexi Nair, who's talking to whoever," and then somebody comes out, says some goofy shit. Then they had this RJ City guy who he does the Hey EW podcast.
Yeah,
he's like super animated and like quirky and shit, and he was back there doing skits with wrestlers and shit. It's just like watching the WWE shit where like Street Profits come out and they talk shit with Booker T and whoever. It's like, you guys are what happened? This used to be a fucking cool thing. Like, you used to have 3 matches on here. I want to see the matches. Like, where's Eddie Kingston? Where's fucking like, where are the guys who I like to see on the pre-show? Where's Hook? Like, these are the pre-show guys. Get let's go. Like, I don't want to fucking listen to this bullshit for an hour, bro. That shit was doo-doo, son. Not a big fan. Speaking of doo-doo, as far as news goes, Big E spoke with TMZ, and he's quoted as saying he's good with whatever the doctors say regarding his neck and his wrestling future. I just want to make the best decision. I have yet to see what my scans say, talk to my doctors, and go from there. Right now, before I know anything, I'm not going to make any rush to judgments. I'm just going to see how everything looks. No anxiety. Everything isn't permanent. Again, another typo. If it comes to an end, cool. If it doesn't, cool. What will be, will be. I'm good with whatever. Life will always give you twists and turns that you don't anticipate. It's about doing the best you can with what you got. Life is a gift. If you're here, if you're walking, if you're healthy, if you have your friends and family, you're blessed. Focus on what you do have and not what you don't have. So, first of all, Biggie is just the absolute fucking greatest dude. Like, Biggie's the greatest dude, man.
I love him.
I hope and pray that he is happy and healthy and able to do whatever it is he wants to do. So as far as him, I bring this up because, of course, the trolls went after Ridge Holland when this happened.
Oh, he was getting like death threats and shit. I heard
death threats, calling him all kinds of slurs and this and that, and this is your fault. And it's like, again, with these fucking wrestling fans, you guys, man, you guys need to get a life. You really do.
Xavier Woods stood up for Ridge Holland.
Yes, he did as well. He should have. But he shouldn't even have to do that shit.
I agree with what Big E said, though. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, my man had a Hall of Fame career, right? And gosh forbid, because obviously we want him back. I know you and I do. I can could probably speak on every wrestling fan that they want him back. But the one thing I'll say is if God forbid he's done, is at least my man got to hold the title.
Yeah. He got a championship run. Thank God.
Yeah, championship run.
Yeah, man. All the best to Big E, bro. I just hope that he's able to be good, man, with whatever it is that he wants to do.
Yeah.
One little quick thing here. I saw this today, like literally when I was on my lunch break. Shout out to Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair has set a record for the longest reigning black champion in WWE history at 344 days, bro. Before Bianca, it was MVP. When he was United States champion, he had the longest reign. So she dethrones MVP, longest reigning black champion in WWE history. That is a fact that cannot be taken away from her. Bianca Belair, congratulations.
Yeah.
And
fucking awesome.
It's fucking incredible, dude. It's awesome.
Because if she makes it, what she obviously is, I think someone said, depending on the night, if she does lose at Mania, it's like 363 or 364, pretty much a whole calendar year. I honestly, like, as much as Asuka's on a roll, and I love Asuka, I'd be
she should retain.
Winning. Yeah, I would not be surprised if she retains.
If it was like an up and comer or somebody like that, or even like Rhea, then I could understand them doing the titles. But Asuka's already, she's a 2-time, 3-time women's champion. Like, what the fuck? She doesn't need that belt, bro. She doesn't need it.
Yeah.
She don't need to be Bianca. She doesn't. So I'm cool with her sticking with it.
Yeah, but finally, either way, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, man.
As long as it's a good match.
But finally, as we wrap up here on our episode 137, we said wrestling is trying to take over our televisions. And it's been reported that AEW and WB executives are working on a new show for AEW. Not a reality show, not a clip show, another wrestling show on TV. And the time slot that they want to put it on is Saturdays at 6:05 p.m., which is the old, I think, WCW show used to air.
WCW show, yeah.
It was a WCW show. I don't remember what it was called, but it used to air at that time. That's like a historic time slot. So Matt Man's Andrew Zarian claims that Warner Brothers Discovery is willing to give them the third TV show. They're very happy with their ratings and, you know, everything that they're doing. So they want to give them a third show. It's not confirmed, but it looks like we might be getting a Saturday night wrestling show. What do you think about watching wrestling on Saturday night, Nick?
I promise you I probably won't watch it unless something huge is advertised. And it's not because I don't like to, but come on, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
how you going to explain to your wife, okay, babe, nah, Saturday night at 6, I got to watch AEW, you know, Comanche or whatever the fuck they're going to call this show. It's like, okay, really? On Saturday? Really? You get 6 days a week we got to watch wrestling? Nah, I don't know any woman who's not a wrestling fan who's going to be into that, dude. Sorry.
Nah, no one's going to be into that. So, yeah. Good for them that they're getting the spotlight from them. Like, that's for real awesome. Like, good for AEW, but you know what I mean? Like, I barely watch wrestling on Friday nights in general as it is.
Bro, I've stopped watching Raw. I told you already my SmackDown plan, 5 minutes, 15 minutes. And as far as everything else goes, like I'm basically done. I watch Dynamite on Wednesdays. I try to watch Rampage because usually I'm up on Fridays if I'm not freaking running shipment 24/7 on Call of Duty. I'll watch Rampage, but other than that, bro, listen, we can't do 6 days or a week of wrestling. I can't do it. It's too much. I don't know how you guys are able to watch it all, because there's some people out there who watch every single thing, and dude, can't be me, bro. Couldn't be me. So, ladies, gentlemen, we are coming up to the end of the show. I'm going to attempt to wrap this up, and I'm going to hope magically in some way, because if you're listening to the audio, Nick has stepped away. If you're watching the video, you can see that he stepped away. But we have come to the end of the show. We thank you guys so much for joining us. There he is. And we thank you guys for joining us. We are very happy to do the show for you. We thank you guys so much for the likes, the follows, the sharing of the links. If you guys could just follow on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so that you know when we drop new content, that would be fantastic. And yeah, we love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll let Nick say goodbye and take us out of here.
Yeah, I don't know what you plugged, so I'm going to do it again. But yeah, you can follow my name on Twitter and Instagram. But most importantly, follow the show. Follow the show. Instagram at wrestlingistrash. At Twitter at wrestlingtrash. But most importantly, on the YouTube, where you guys have been giving love, giving nicknames, and all that. So on YouTube at wrestlingistrash, like, subscribe. Definitely that subscribe button. Like, subscribe, comment, all of it. The whole 9. Share, everything. We thank you, as always, as we said, for being here with us. Another fun-filled week of wrestling, and it's just, we're getting to that time of year where it's going to start picking up. We got Mania coming up. After that, Double or Nothing. Then after that, like SummerSlam. Then after that, All Out. So it's just about to get crazier, and we hope you guys join us along for the ride.
Absolutely. WrestleMania brought to you by Mustache Vince.
Mustache Man.
Mustache Vince. So for me, Nick, and Mustache Vince, we bid you adieu. Happy wrestling, guys. We'll see you next time.